anybody is going to trust you after this CRAP. You know, this junk.
We're past that.
He's sitting, by the way, with a guy who reportedly got $500K to his organization just days before interviewing Kamala Harris on MSNBC. Guess what? All of these people are for sale.
You can't meet. If they voted for Trump in 16, whatever. They voted for Trump in 20, they knew exactly what they were doing. If they vote for Donald Trump in 2024, and I've said it on my show, I'll say it here, they're knowingly voting for a fascist. They're voting for a racist. They're voting for somebody that wants to put this country 200 years in the back.
And yet, guess what? Joey, they voted for them. Did you see all the red? Okay. So that happened despite you saying that every single day on your show. But, you know, some of your viewers are a little upset right now because they don't understand why you went down to Mar-a-Lago. If in fact you believe all that. Do you believe all that? I don't think you do. I think that's the problem. That was all a song and a dance to try and scare the heck out of people. Rosie's not too happy with you.
Hold, please. So Mika and Joe went down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. It's the last time I ever watched Morning Joe. Period. End of statement. Unreal. Unreal. For months you were telling us he's the worst thing that could happen to this country and democracy. And then you go kiss his ring? Despicable. Despicable you. Both of you.
Okay, so Rosie's pretty upset, but you know what, in a way, like she should be. If you actually believed what they were saying, then how could they just turn around the next day and pretend like nothing happened? I mean, if Joe Biden believed that Donald Trump was an existential threat to democracy, then and how is he like okay with everything? How's everything so hunky-dory right now? Karine Jean-Pierre was asked this very question.
It's been more than 2 weeks since the election. This was an election that elected a man that President Biden has repeatedly referred to as an existential threat. So why is it that the American people have not heard President Biden talk about this threat since the election?
Because there was an election and the American people spoke. Mm-hmm. The will of the American people were very clear. And so the president is now in a situation where we have to deal with a peaceful transfer of power. We have to respect the will of the American people. And that's what you have been seeing from this president, trying to lead by example to make sure that that happens.
What do you know? Apparently the existential threat is no more. It's pretty incredible. I mean, they are so convinced that somehow these little podcasts like mine are influencing people in negative ways that, you know, that they, by the way, do not do. Let me just say for the record, you know, I have an opinion. I wear it on my sleeve, right? Sometimes it gets me in a lot of trouble and I'm okay with that. I'm willing to just deal because I'm a big believer that I should be able to say exactly what I think. But I do actually try to really make sure I know what I'm thinking and what I'm saying before I say it. Unlike too many members of this liberal media that think that they can manipulate something for their viewpoint. I mean, hey, look, I've called out Trump plenty of times, including in August of 2020, because I was like, you guys can't keep printing money. We're going to have massive inflation. And, you know, he gave another stimulus check, the second one, the stimmy money. You had Powell just printing. And then, of course, it was made extremely bad by Joe Biden, who got in there and gave a third stimmy check. Powell kept printing. And then you had Nancy and Chuck doing everything they could to spend trillions of dollars more. So sure, you get inflation, but you get my picture. In other words, I'm always going to tell you what I think. And hopefully I'm smart enough, I'm honest enough to be able to look at all of this comprehensively. But I don't think Mika and Joe are either honest nor smart enough to do such a thing. They actually think that you can manipulate the economy based on what people are saying in the news. Clearly you couldn't, right? Because did you see the inflation numbers? I want to go back to 2022. This is an excerpt of them from their little show back in 2020. So a couple of years ago, here they are talking about, oh my gosh, what happens if Trump were to win?
Who were Trump voters. and are still Trump supporters, they go, yeah, you guys are going crazy. He's doing, what are you so surprised about? He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do.
Well, and I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Yeah, if you look at the
Really? Okay, this is going to get good.
issues, Yamisha's right. He's doing exactly what he said. It's
right.
It's
You can control what people think. You guys really think that? Well, if you can control what people think, then, who needs things like the stock market, by the way, which has been on a tear ever since Donald Trump came in. Incidentally, Friday afternoon, right after I got off the air with you, I was over on 76 Research. We got the appointment of Scott Bessent. He's who I told you all along I believed would actually get it. Sure enough, really brilliant hedge fund guy. And the market's really like that. You had treasuries rallying today. Go over to investinmaga.com. If you haven't done that, it's all free. It's part of our 76 Research offering. 76 Research is the financial company I started with Rob Horton, brilliant investor, 20 some odd years on Wall Street, running billions of dollars. He gets it. I get it. Listen, we're trying to cut through the noise, right? Because there's a lot of noise with the likes of Mika and Joe. The reality is, no, guys, you can't actually totally somehow change what people think. Listen, on the margin, maybe you have a shot at least of inspiring, right? Maybe there's a little bit more excitement. You look at these numbers that are coming to us right now out of CBS News, and I'll tell you, they're really good. They're really, really good. We're seeing 60% of Americans say they feel positive, like for the first time, about the future. But this is what we're dealing with. So, you guys could get on television, and Mika and Joe, in fact, did, and they tried to say that the economy wasn't an issue. Just look at the stock market. It's all great. What are people complaining about? And I was like, this is what people are complaining about. Okay, you can't massage your way around this. You can do a lot to kind of rally the troops and excite them. And consumer sentiment is actually important. Consumer confidence is really important. And I think Trump does a really good job at that. But if you're looking at K through 12 food costs up 70% or car insurance up 57%, you're not going to be able to get away from those, facts. Dare I say facts? These are not alternative facts. These are actual facts. And it's like pot calling kettle all day long here. And guess what the result was? The result was a massive red wave that even Joe Scarborough had to admit to.
Well, so much to go through, so many questions. I came onto the set and Willie said, hey, by the way, because we were talking about the historic nature of this sweep.
Yeah.
And Willie said, do you know, he only lost Illinois by 4 points.
4 points in
New Jersey by 5. You talk about we had talked about a red wave 2 years ago that never materialized. This is I've got to say, this is the biggest red wave I've seen since Ronald Reagan's 49 state victory in 1984. It seems every Republican across the country improved.
Yeah. And this is despite everything you did. Hey, quick shout out for the store. This is Thanksgiving week. Can you believe it? I'm getting my Christmas lights up pretty soon. The hope is for, day after Thanksgiving. Anyway, we're thinking about Christmas. If you want to show your appreciation and support and help get the word out for the Trish Regan show, you can do that and get all your Christmas gifts too at trishregan.shop. Trishregan.shop, we get hats, we get mugs, live for your die, etc. I just wanted to mention that to you guys. But, clearly all of their concern, all of their angst, it's like it fell on deaf ears. Is it because nobody's watching? That's part of it. It's also because I think people were just exhausted.